Hello, welcome back to the Luton Library podcast. Here with me, Luton Library, at the amazing Luton Library Theatre. I'm very lucky that these guys have had me here. I mean, you saw my last podcast. It was incredible with Tim, and we talked lots about this place. But we are going to have more and more guests here. Like today, we've got an amazing guest. We've got Salma, who's from Luton Food Bank. But before I talk about Salma, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's going on here at Luton Library Theatre. So what do we have on this month at Luton Library Theatre? Well, you'll be excited to know we've got Robin Hood, the pantomime that's going to be here on this stage between the 6th and the 15th. You don't want to miss that one. Get your tickets now. And if you're a fan of pantomimes, we've got another great one with Santa's Sleigh coming on the 21st of December. It's not one you want to miss. And welcoming a fantastic new community club, the Orange Picture Club, who are going to be showcasing their amazing films they're going to be putting on here in the Luton Library Theatre over the Christmas period. First off, we've got Gremlins on the 16th of December. And then on the 22nd of December, we've got Home Alone. Then on the 23rd of December, we've got A Muppet's Christmas Carol and A Wonderful Life. Trust me, these guys are putting on a great thing for this town, and you guys aren't going to want to miss this. And now, on to our newest episode with Salma from Luton Food Bank. This is a wonderful episode, and we talk about lots to do with what's going on now at the Food Bank, how difficult some of the challenges are that they face, and how you, the community, can get involved. You're going to want to watch this episode. Love you, Luton. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Luton Library podcast with me, Luton Library, and my extra special guest today. I've got Salma from Luton Food Bank. How you doing, Salma?
I'm good, thank you.
Good stuff. So, what brings you here?
You do.
That's probably the worst question that I've started with in my entire time of doing this podcast. I just told you about how much I prepared for this as well, and it turns out I'm just still an idiot. And with all the preparation in the world, I still make mistakes.
I think sometimes when you prepare a lot, you can still, trip up, it's fine.
Yeah, that's
we all
true.
do
That's
it.
true. Well, let's just get into it anyways, because I think a lot of people already know who Luton Food Bank are and what you guys do. But tell me specifically about yourself. Like, what's your role in the food bank, and what do you do?
So my role is I'm the Director of Operations, so I need to ensure that everything's running smoothly. So we've got a team of staff and volunteers that help run the whole place. You volunteered there as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm actually there on Monday as well.
You are. No, I think that's where I first met you as well, at the warehouse.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah, so my job is to ensure there's enough food, that people in Luton know about us. So if they are in need of food parcels or referrals, they can access us. There's enough funding coming in so we can buy the food parcels. There's enough food coming in that people are donating, so campaigns, events. So everything, but with the team. I couldn't do it on myself or without the volunteers.
Yeah, I mean, I know Dami as well quite well, because me and her went to school together, and she's an amazing person. Absolutely. Work she does there as well.
Yeah, she's one of the key people, and so is Paul.
I love Paul. I love Paul.
So that's it. So we are the full-time staff of the food bank. So it's myself, Dami, and Paul. And our team is amazing. We've got Yasmin as well, who's our advisor and community engagement worker. So she's wonderful too. And our volunteers, well, they're the heart of the food bank, aren't they?
Yeah, of course. One of my favourite things about when I used to go and volunteer, because I haven't done it for a little while now, where I've been fairly busy, but I do try to fill in when I can. But one of my favourite things about it is if you go to volunteer at the food bank, you walk away with a feeling like no other. It's like I struggle a lot with my mental health, and I know a lot of people who I talk to at the food bank, they struggle very similarly. And it's one of these things where it gives you this kind of like superpower feeling, not to pun of me being a superhero, but like there's this feeling when you leave that nothing can put you down, because I've just helped someone. In fact, I've helped many people because I've packed food for lots and lots of different people.
You're absolutely right. And I think a lot of the volunteers do say that to us, because it kind of, when you're making those food parcels, it's going to a child or an adult out there that's in need. And I think doing that act is really fulfilling, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. It's also the connections you make with the other volunteers. One of my favourite people, he never wants to go on camera. I always try and take pictures with him when I'm down there. And he never wants me to. Reg?
Yes,
Reg, isn't he just a sweetheart?
he is, and he's been with us a long time, and yeah, he loves it. He's there all the time, isn't he?
Yeah, and you know, he's quite an older gentleman. You know, for me and him, we've got a massive age gap between us. But whenever I'm working with him, we just talk the entire time, and it's really nice hearing his version of like what it's been like growing up in Luton and seeing the changes. And I love having talks with Reg. It's one of my favourite times of coming to the food bank because I know I'm most likely going to see him. And then the other volunteers as well. You know, everybody's there for the same reason. They want to help. So it's like you get to be around really cool, interesting people who have really kind heart in them. So it's lovely what you create by creating these volunteering opportunities.
And we couldn't do it without the volunteers either. And like you say, we have people from all walks of life. We've got the ex-principal of Sixth Form College. You'll have people that have retired from really high, high-paid professional jobs that are volunteering there. And it's so nice to see them because they've kind of created friendship circles, haven't they? And whenever I go into the warehouse, they're having a bit of banter, they're having a bit of fun. Some of them even go for coffee afterwards. And I think that's really important. And the main thing is that they're giving back, and that satisfaction you only get from when you're volunteering in a place like the food bank, isn't it?
I mean, just to go into, you know, a little bit more about the process with the food bank, because I think that for me, when I first got involved, it was a really big eye-opening experience. You know, I didn't really understand where the food comes from, how the food gets packaged and given out to people, and you know, the process of how people have to apply to actually use the food bank. So could you tell us a little bit more about those sort of things? Like, where does it come from firstly?
Okay, so the food at the food bank is donated by the public, like people like yourselves. So we have collection points across the town. We have around 20. So supermarkets such as Sainsbury's in Bury Park, you've got Asda in Wigmore. They collect food. They have trolleys there where people can donate food, and we will go once or twice a week, depending on how much food is there, and we'll pick it up and bring it back. We've done supermarket collections, which you volunteered in, where we'll have our volunteers standing outside the supermarket every month on a Saturday, where they'll ask the customers to donate food items, the ones that we're most in need of. So that's another way. We've just finished harvest, so we write to all the schools and ask them to do a food collection for harvest, and the parents donate. That comes in, and that really, really helps us, especially when it comes to the winter periods, because the kids are off in August, our donations are quite low. So when we do harvest, we're kind of ready for October, November time to give the food parcels out. We do events and campaigns where we raise funds, and then those funds we then use to buy food, because we don't control what people donate to us. So for example, if they're donating pasta to us and tinned beans, a food parcel consists of about 20 items. So then we will need to use that money to buy those items to fulfill that food parcel. So yeah, there's many different ways. You know, people do work collections for us, they do fundraising for us. You know, there's so many different ways that, you know, we get hold of food.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, I've volunteered now for a few years at the food bank, and I've seen a real change in the way that it operates. You know, when I first came in, I remember what we was picking from, like as in the month and the year, like what we're taking from, and now I know that it's far more diminished now, and the amount that's coming in is kind of being outstripped by the amount of need that there is now. So if you're on your side of things, you know far more than me. I just volunteer there, but have you noticed a substantial rise in the need from families, especially in like communities like Luton?
Yes, we have. I mean, when it comes to the winter periods, our food parcels double, and the most amount of parcels we give is in the month of December, especially near the end, because as you know, people are putting on the heating. They're using more electric, and it's darker. Children are staying home more, so that means their bills are more higher. So we don't want people to choose between heating and eating. That's why they come to the food bank. So then they can use that money that they save to pay their bills. We do see a rise.
Yeah, it's really sad. You know, obviously, I mean, how long has Luton Food Bank been around for?
Oh,
Actually?
11 years, coming close to 12. So being here I've been there 10 years myself, but I'm sure it was started a year before I started, so I think we're in our 12th year now.
Yeah, I mean, for me, growing up, I didn't even know what a food bank was in Luton. You know, I hadn't ever heard
Same
of
as
it.
me, same as me. I didn't even know a food bank existed until I actually went for a job with the food bank. And the whole idea really, you know, got to me. Like, I thought, wow, we have food banks like in England, like in Luton, where people come and they need food. So I just found that, you know, you just don't want it to be real, but it is, and people are using it. And, you know, I've been doing it as a job for a long time now. And I see the people that come and use us, and they're people like you and me. And anybody at any time can fall into a crisis. And I think that's the important thing there. And I think that's why so many people, you know, donate and volunteer for the food bank, because they know it only can take, you know, something small as, you know, a washing machine breaking down, or paying for your children's holiday lunches, that can push you into a crisis.
Yeah, I think that you know, because I've literally done most of the jobs as a volunteer now with the food bank. I've been out there at the collections at Asda and at Sainsbury's, and I've gone around with the driver as well, and I've been a driver and I've picked up stuff, and I've gone to distribution as well, where you actually giving people out packages, and then obviously working in the warehouse packaging and stuff. Like, I've kind of seen all areas of it, and it's really wonderful to see the work that's going on. But then when you're actually there giving the food packages out, like you say, it's kind of crazy, because what you expect it's going to be of who is coming to you, you've got a certain expectation. You expect it to be mostly homeless people, or people who are on incredibly low income. Sometimes you get people who have a reasonable income, but like you say, they fall on incredibly hard times all of a sudden. And I remember there was one time in particular where someone drove in a really nice car, and somebody made a comment, somebody who was waiting in line, just like, well, they don't need it. And it's like, you don't know what that person's circumstances are. Yeah, they may have a nice car now, but you don't know if they can really afford to fill it up that often. Exactly. You know, if they how much they're struggling to make the payments on it. If, you know, it might be a car that they've taken a loan out. So many things as to why, you know. And the great thing about the food bank is it doesn't discriminate. Yeah. You know, there's you know, there's going to be a proportion of people who do take advantage, right? But I think that you guys have really good checks and balances in place to ascertain who are the ones that really, really need the help. But then also there's flexibility there, where, you know, sometimes I've been there before, and you know, a person is due to get a package, but they didn't make the call, or they didn't do the right thing in the right order, and there's still some kind of leniency towards helping those people, because that's at the core of it. What you guys do is help people.
That's right. We'd give them a discretionary pass, don't we? Till somebody can speak to them and see what the actual crisis is. I think this is the right time to talk about how people access the food bank. Yes. So we have over 300 referral partners. So our referral partners are other charities. You've got schools. We've got social services, NHS. So anybody that comes across somebody that could fall into a crisis can be a referrer for the food bank. And the reason we do that is because we don't want to go in as strangers asking people questions that they might not be comfortable answering. So if they're already working with an agency, then it makes sense for them to ask those questions, because they've already got a relationship with them. So we'll take the example of a school. So if I'm a school teacher, family worker, and I would know best if that person is in a crisis and how many family members they are, without us doing any checks or making them feel uncomfortable. Because we have to remember, it is so difficult for people to actually accept that they need help and to come to a food bank. And we want to make that as easy as possible. I think the number of people that use us or take advantage of us is very small, and we assess after each. So assess by assessment, I'm not trying to say we make it difficult for people to use the food bank, but we do sit there and ask them questions and say, what is the need? What is your crisis? To find out whether we can help them. As I told you before, we've got an advisor, and if we find out that they've, for example, lost their job or they've been sanctioned with their benefits, we can advise them what to do next. Yeah. And we also work with other partners, so we can say, do you need help with your gas or electric? Because we know somebody, we can get you a top up, we can get your bill reduced, or do you need uniforms? We work with Level Trust. Or do you need clothes or anything? And we try to make it like a one-stop shop. So you come to us and we'll help you with everything that we can or everything that we know. And then the next time they come to use us, we will again speak to them and see how they're getting on and what's happening. But usually it's our referrers that are having that relationship with them because they know them, and that's the most comfortable way to do it.
Yeah, I think that that's the best way to do it, to be honest with you, exactly how you say, because who's going to know better than the people that are closest and working with them already? It's a really great way to utilise that. Because yeah, ultimately you don't have unlimited stocks. You can't just give food endlessly to everybody. You need to have that in place so that you can make sure that, you know, you wouldn't want people who are taking advantage to be at the front of the queue, and then the less privileged that really are relying on the service don't get to access it. But yeah, like I say, from my personal experience working there, even when we've only gone with a few packages, we're still able to always deliver to somebody. You know, there's not been a time that I've worked there that we've run out. I know it's probably happened at times, but there's not been a time that I've been there where it's run out. And you know, one of the fascinating things as well is when I'm in the warehouse and you get them packages through from Asda and from Sainsbury's and all these large people who you don't think help as much as what they do, but my gosh, the amount of food that comes from them is absolutely crazy.
No, we're actually quite fortunate. We haven't ever run out of food because the community of Luton is so giving. Whenever we've put out a call out, they've always responded, and with abundance. They've given us food because I think what the beauty is of the food bank is if you donate that tin of beans will go to somebody. And I think it's that's what they like doing. They know that that's going to be an end product to somebody. And people that don't have time, I mean, I don't have time. I wouldn't have time to go and get food and donate. So for me, it's easier to donate the money and know that the food bank will buy the items that they're short of. So we try to, you know, cater for everybody. Whether you want to donate the food item, whether you want to donate the money, it will go to the same place.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this kind of moves on to one of my other things I've been thinking about with you guys is the challenges that you must face with this. You know, because it's food, it's like it's always going out the door. It comes in and it goes out. It comes in, it goes out. So I'm always fascinated by how you guys are able to keep it going. Because it is so many volunteers. Obviously, there's paid positions within the food bank as well, but you know the reliance on volunteers is so heavy. But what are your challenges? What you see, you know, from your experience?
I think it's keeping up with the demand of the food parcels because over the 10 years it has increased a lot. And what we do is we prepare for that. You know, we've got a great team. We absolutely could not run the food bank without our volunteers. They help us collect food items. They help sort food items out. They help distribute the food items. They help deliver. They do absolutely everything. With just, you know, Dami, myself and Paul, we couldn't run the food bank at all. And for us, it's, you know, it's Luton Food Bank. You know, it's for everyone to help us and everyone to make sure that nobody goes hungry in our town. We're just trying to do the best we can.
Yeah, yeah, because unfortunately, the biggest challenge for you guys, what I foresee, is the external force of pressure on people's lives. You know, people are getting squeezed pretty hard in this country at the moment, and Luton is one of the places where this is happening really heavy. I mean, you just heard obviously about Vauxhall now shutting down completely. That is going to cause a massive increase for you guys. It's going to cause an absolutely tremendous increase, and it's really scary actually to think that there's going to be 1,000 people out of a job.
It's devastating, isn't it? Like, you know, we as a food bank think that, you know, should we approach them? But you feel quite reluctant because you think these people have been working all their life and we're there to support them, but it must not feel great that you've worked so hard and then you have to turn to a food bank. I mean, we're one of the richest countries in the world. We shouldn't have food banks, but yet here we are in our 12th year. We're giving out over 15,000 food parcels. We shouldn't be here. We know we shouldn't be here. We get people that are working and they can't make ends meet and they're coming to use the food bank. And we try to make it as easy as possible for them, but only they, I mean, I always put myself in that position that if I needed a food bank, I would firstly try every other avenue before I needed to turn to a food bank, because you always think that, no, it's not for me, it's not for me, it's for somebody who's
Who
in
really
more
needs
need.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I could be that person that really needs it at some point in my life.
Yeah. I mean, you know, to have that kind of feeling, it's true. It's only when you have reached rock bottom, and you know that if you don't use this place, you and your children aren't eating. You know, it's a lot of families obviously that are coming to you guys now as well. You do get single people coming in that door, but you know the amount of family packages that you've put out. I mean, I see it. It's really horrifying to know that there's that many families in them kind of horrible positions. But this is part of the problem, I guess, where we want to improve the situation for these people, but then it's very hard when you're fighting a force like the government pushing down these people a lot of the time. You know, obviously there's a lot of funding that places like yourself will get from the government, we're to be grateful for, but I don't think food banks address the problem necessarily properly, in that you guys are like you're like something that is there to heal the wound, but not the thing that stops the wound from taking place in the first place, you know. And there needs to be something more preemptive so that then there is less pressure on food. I think that now we are living in a time that you're going to need food banks, but we need to also be thinking about, you know, I can't remember who says it, but there's someone that I watch that says in America, they're in America, right? And they say about we should be judged by the lowest member of our society, right? So whoever we consider to be the lowest member of society, so I would say within the UK, the people that are at rock bottom are going to be the homeless, drug addicts, in and out of crime, you know, really dire situations, right? If we have that in our country, then that is what we should be judged by as a country, not the richest people in our country. We should be judged by the bottom, because then we want to uplift those people and stop putting pressure on those people.
Absolutely. I think people need to remember that everyone has a story, and, you know, they don't just become drug addicts or homeless or whatever it may be. There was always a backstory to it, and we need to be quite sensitive towards that. And as a food bank, what we try to do is, like you say, we're like a plaster, we put a plaster on the wound, but we also try to do preventative work as well. So we've got our information signpost advisor that will talk to them. We're doing workshops now, so we've done a workshop on budgeting, we've done one on how to shop smart from a supermarket, don't go for branded items. We've done how to cook in bulk and how to cook healthy. We've done grow your own, how to stay warm in the winter tips, and we've also done how to keep your mental well-being good in the winter. And you know, we did that as, you know, when someone's in crisis, let's give them those tools. But we went a step further now, and we've introduced a Young Ambassador program, which we're starting with high schools and year sixes in primary school, where we're teaching them those skills of what is a cost of living crisis. So that's our preventative work, that anybody can, you know, face a crisis. Like you said, I don't see the food bank disappearing in the next few years. No. We don't want to exist, but we have to exist. So let's equip the young people that when they go to uni, when they go to college, they know how to buy a meal, how to cook a meal, and how to budget, so that they're prepared. I think we saw that as our duty to do, so that then they don't have to turn to the food bank. I think you have to think of stuff that's preventative, and then deal with what's coming to you as a crisis as well at the same time.
Yeah. Can we just pause for a second? Sorry about that. Yeah, I just had a thing where I left my phone on and realised that I was going to get a phone call. So we're back anyway, and we obviously talk about some really hard subjects in regards to the need for the food bank and what's going on in terms of the country at the moment and the pressure on people. But, you know, it's not all pain and horrible stuff that comes out of the food bank. There's a lot of joy that comes out of the food bank as well, which I love, and you guys really get the community involved. So what have you got going on at the moment over this festive period now leading up to Christmas?
So we've just launched our reverse advent calendar video, thanks to Two Side Studio. They helped film that with children at Chantry Primary School, and that was really well received. We even had board members say that it was as good as John Lewis and John Lewis ad, yeah. And I was really pleased to hear that. And I think the reason we went with doing a video this year is so that people can actually understand what the reverse advent calendar is. I remember when I spoke to Jazz and I said, I want to, do an advert on this. And he's like, but what is it? And even he kind of didn't get what it was. And I thought, well, actually, it's a good thing that we're doing a video because it'll explain it. And you should see the video. It's a really...
Have I seen the video? You don't think so? No. Oh, right. Why have you not shown me the video? It's apparently John Lewis worthy.
Well, I do a lot of things.
He does a lot of things.
No, it is fantastic. And I think, I'll tell you what it's about.
Yes, please.
So, as you know, typical advent calendar, 24 chocolates, kids open them and they eat a chocolate and they have a message about Christmas leading up to Christmas. So what we did is, why it's reverse is, we're asking the children to donate one food item for the 24 days, which will go to a family or child in need. And that teaches young people, children, families, adults, whatever, of giving. That, we're going to give to somebody, and it opens that discussion of that there's someone out there that's your age or that will need that and will benefit from that food. And what they can do is they can either go shop it all at once, or they can put one item in the bag over the 24 days, donate it just before Christmas or after Christmas. It's really up to them. But I thought it was a really fun activity to do and get children involved and teaching them about sharing and giving, especially in the festive season.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a very important lesson to be putting out there to kids. It's a good way to get them involved, firstly. I mean, I really love the work with Chantry School as well. Obviously, we had the wonderful Mr. Kelly, who was there previously and unfortunately passed away. But he's left behind him a great legacy within that school, and they continue the work in his name. And I love Chantry. They do such great work around the town, and you guys being involved in the community is one of the best and biggest things that I see about yourselves as well. I don't see many events or many things going on where Luton Food Bank doesn't have a presence there, and it's really nice to know that you guys are so interwoven in our community that it's like a really recognisable thing to know that, forget about me, you guys are superheroes.
Oh, that's really nice to
no,
hear.
you are. But speaking of superheroes, there is a superhero that actually works with you that isn't me as well, and he's quite prominently working with you guys quite a lot, isn't it? And that's our good friend Spider-Man.
Oh, I have not had the chance to meet him yet.
Have you not met him yet?
I have not met him yet.
No, he does a lot of stuff with you guys, and I love that guy. He come on with me.
Yeah, I know he's done the supermarket collections with you. But I haven't had the honour to meet him in person.
He is way more mysterious than me. Way more mysterious than me. I mean, I don't even know who the guy is.
Don't you?
No, of course I do. Of course I do. I DBS everybody. Don't be silly. I know I'm a little bit crazy, but I'm not that crazy. But no, he's great, and he's really been getting involved with the community lately, and really developing himself within the fundraising and the charity sort of stuff. What he does, I think it's really important that we've got. I know it's silly, but I think it's important that we've got superheroes in our community that stand up, and they're not doing the typical kind of cosplaying thing of just taking pictures of themselves and
setting a good example. Absolutely.
Yeah, setting an example. Yeah,
younger children do love superheroes, and if they can see them like in real life, in Luton, they can see, well, I can be like that, and I can give, and I can support charities. I think it's fantastic what you do, and for those people that love superheroes, they've got good examples to follow.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be out, by the way, people, I haven't even announced it yet, but we'll be out doing our Christmas collections, and we're going to be doing stuff with the food bank as well, I believe. I think that on the 24th?
Is it our...
Something on the 24th.
Is it Christmas dinners?
I think so. I think we're coming to help.
Okay, so let's talk about that then. So we've got another campaign event project that we're doing, which Jazz will be helping film later on today. So what that's about is we last year provided 600 cooked Christmas meals and toys to families in Luton. And this year we've increased it to 1,000.
Wow.
And we've got Luton Point fundraising for us, and we've got a fundraising page on our website and on our social media. So we want to this year provide 1,000 cooked Christmas meals that we deliver, that you're going to help with, on Christmas Eve to families in Luton.
Yeah, that's really exciting, and I can't wait to be a part of that, and I can't wait to do my shift as well on Monday. I've really missed being down there. it feels like an extended family almost.
Oh, that's
going
lovely
down
to
that
hear.
place.
And I'm sure they miss you too.
Yeah, of course. Last question that I've got for you. So if you could have like your own like mascot, right, for Luton Food Bank, like your own superhero. Forget about me and Spider-Man. Your own superhero, right? We will excuse her.
I'm trying to hold it in.
It's
you
that
see.
time of year, people. It's that time of year. Be understanding. So, if you guys could manufacture a superhero, what would be the superhero? What would be the superpowers, and what would you guys represent?
Our superpowers would be to ensure no one goes hungry. And funny you say that. I've always thought we should have a mascot, and I've never ever thought of what it should be, or because I'm not that creative in that way. But you know, everyone's a superhero for us because everyone who donates even one food item helps ensure no one goes hungry. So for us, everybody's a superhero in Luton.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, do you know what? That's a really good way to end it as well. Little bit of warmth towards the people of Luton who are giving to you guys to help you guys sustain. And I have to say, I love the people of Luton. Big up the people of Luton. Thank you guys for helping these guys to keep going and keep supporting those that are most in need. And it's super important. But yeah, I mean, is there anything else you want to talk about?
I would just like to say thank you to the.
I know. How can people come volunteer? How can they donate? Please tell the people how they can help you guys.
Well, you can call us, you can go on our website, you can email us, just get in touch with us. And we've always got opportunities for volunteering. We always are looking for donations, be it money, be it food. We don't mind what it is. And if you want to volunteer, we'll find you something to do within our wonderful charity. We have so many wonderful volunteers like yourself, and our staff are just amazing too.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining me,
Thank you.
Salma. And I really look forward to the bright future that we have of working together and putting smiles on people's faces and filling up bellies. So thank you very much for your hard work.
Thank you.
And yeah, I'll see you around soon. Thank you very much for watching, people. I love you, Luton.